Hey everybody, welcome to drinknectar.com. I am your host, Josh Wade. Today we're going back down to Walla to review a winery that participated in the massive Cabernet Day tasting. It's the Skylite Cellars from Walla, Washington. Tom and Cheryl Hodgins are the owners down there and involved in the winemaking process with their winemaker, Robert Smasny. Robert Smasny makes wines for, 20-25 different Washington State wineries. Busy guy. But the Hodginses, they have quite a track record going in Walla. Some great awards coming in, some kudos, some recognition. Those types of things just tend to validate what a young winemaker and a young winery is doing, that they're on the right track. Back in the 80s, Tom was living the dream at a smooth jazz station. And then they invested in Ash Hollow Vineyards, made their way to Walla and have a small vineyard called Skylite Vineyards, I think is what it is. And then Skylite Cellars was born out of that. And they also sourced some grapes from Walla and then other places across the state of Washington, the Great Columbia Valley. First wine we have is their 2007 Cabernet Sauvignon. If you'll remember, I reviewed the reserve version of this wine during the Cabernet tasting. It was really a phenomenal wine. Well integrated, very big for the price point. This one's only $28. Very thick, dark in color, rich all the way out to the edges of the glass, mostly opaque. You can see a little bit down to the bottom of the glass. Let's give it a sniff. Okay, so what I get is a ton of fruit. There's a lot of dark fruit, dark red fruit in there, and just in the back you get a real small whiff of some smokiness that settled in there. And you know what really surprises me is this wine spent 22 months in new American oak, and there's not a ton of woodiness or oakiness on the nose. It's a little bit that comes through, but it's enough to be well integrated. Is a well-made wine, you can tell. Let's give it a sip. Here's what I love about this wine. It reminds me of the other wine as well, that it's for 100% Cabernet varietal wine. It's actually very smooth. It's not doesn't have some real thick tannins in the back end. This wine is actually really just solid fruit, like a thick weight of fruit that just enters your mouth. And the finish is quick. There is a hint of some of that oak and that smokiness and that toastedness as you're swallowing. For me, it might have just been my lack of having a strong, substantive dinner tonight, but I get a little bit of heat on the back end. It's only 14% alcohol, but just maybe not as balanced as it could be. But really a phenomenal wine at $28, boutique wine, something that's enjoyable, incredibly drinkable just by itself. Also would pair well with a number of dishes. Super. The next wine we're going to try is their 2007 Reserve, and this is 51% Malbec, 33% Cabernet Sauvignon, 16% Carmenere. Barrel selected. Each of these wines went through their own different oak treatments. Some new, some used, some American, some French. Just little bits of everything in there. But it's this barrel selection that they pulled out the top-notch stuff that was really developing well to create this reserve. In the glass, it really is very pretty around the outside edges, which I know never comes across on the camera. But those outside edges have a really beautiful like pearlescence to them, which is nice. Let's give it a sniff. Again, not a ton happening on the nose. Let me say that differently. Not a lot of different things happening on the nose, but there is a good, strong presence of blueberry and vanilla. Just a small hint of some spice in there, probably from the Carmenere, maybe actually a little bit from the Cabernet Sauvignon. So let's give this a sip. I'm really excited about this. You ever have those wines that just you put them in your mouth and you want to just let them sit there in the center of your tongue this is this wine. It washes across, your tongue, over the edges of your mouth, provides just a really smooth elegance, opulence to it. Very much some blueberry and vanilla, and a little hint of cinnamon in there. Beautiful taste. The finish is long, lingering, crisp at the end. Performing incredibly well right now. Phenomenal wine. I think it's $47. So a little high in the price point for a lot of people, but certainly something if you want a special wine that you want to bring out for some upcoming holiday dinners. This is definitely a wine that you'd want to seek out. Life's always meant to be enjoyed with friends, and I've enjoyed a long summer with my family, with friends. Went to New York City. I love New York. So I hope you're enjoying life with friends.